And we are back with another episode of the Real Podcast of Dallas. And we have today
Miss Cindy.
And Miss Maria's not here today.
Hi, Maria.
Miss Maria is on spring break, springing it up.
I'm looking at her empty chair.
Yes. So, Miss Maria, I hope you're having a good time.
She's here in spirit.
She's here in spirit, yeah. Miss Maria, you're here in spirit.
Yeah.
So we're trying something new with the mics. Trying to get to the next level. Hopefully the voices sound a little better. So we'll see. We'll find out. I don't know. Adjust the mics a little bit. Okay. So, is your weekend like, Cindy?
You know, I never remember my weekends.
Really?
They're too brief.
Too brief, yeah.
Yeah. It's very routine weekend. Get the house all clean and we took a nice long walk, my husband and I. That was nice.
Oh, very nice.
We walked about 5 miles and then
really? Wow.
Then we
good job, Jared.
Yeah, we do that a lot, and then we binged on some Netflix.
Always good to do.
Yeah.
What did he listen to the podcast, the last one we did?
No, he's only listened to the one and said it sounded legit, but I'm kind of shy about it.
Because we had fun with him.
Yeah.
At his expense.
At his expense.
But it was all in good fun.
One day we'll have to actually get him here.
Yeah. So, we were Zooming earlier. Mm-hmm. And we had a topic we wanted to cover. But before that, Miss Maria's not here, so I'll be the one that says it. So, where can they hear the podcast? Oh, you want to do it for her?
I'll do the iHeartRadio.
Okay, so iHeartRadio.
YouTube podcast.
YouTube podcast now.
Facebook, we are the Real Podcast of Dallas.
Yes. So if you Google the Real Podcast of Dallas, you will see that we come up. And it's very nice because you can also catch us on YouTube podcast. That'll come up. The screens will actually come up. And then you can catch us on Google Podcasts. You can catch us on Spreaker. You can catch us on Spotify. You can catch us on a whole bunch of other ones. If you Google it, actually we start coming up. You know, we're working these. Last week we recorded four.
Cuatro.
We did 4 podcasts, and for those of you that speak Spanish, we did a special one for the clown that everyone loves in the Hispanic community, Cepillín, and Miss Cindy was there with us.
I was.
What do you think of that, Miss Cindy? Never heard of them, but
I still can't enunciate that the way the spelling is.
Cepillín. The LL is the Y.
Right, but I don't hear it.
It's Cepillín.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you were part of that, so you got to learn a little bit about the culture.
I saw Maria get very teary-eyed.
Very emotional, yes. Yeah. So
it took her back.
Yes, took both of us back, but very emotional for her. But thank you, Miss Maria. That was very good, and it's getting a lot of listeners. We're getting people from Argentina listening.
Wow.
Yes. So
that's South America, right?
South America, yes. Mexico's listening. We have people, of course, in India that are listening, and Netherlands are listening, and people all over the U.S., so not just here. And we're about to hit our 600. Last time we were talking about 500. We surpassed it, and we're about to hit 600.
Yeah, we're going to have a big party when we get to 1,000.
Well, I had just said, if we hit 500 downloads, because I'm surprised, we were going to do something, and then we surpassed it. So we're hitting almost 600. And yes, 1,000, I'm thinking if we can do this before the summer, we'll do something with the kids at Griner.
That'd be awesome.
I think that we can work something up. Pizza, clowns, who knows? It'll be a drug-free party.
A drug-free party.
This is your first drug-free podcast dedicated to drug-free. That's out there, and it's very popular. Everybody's listening. Everybody loves the Real Podcast of Dallas. The The real podcast of Dallas, not Pothead of Dallas. It's like, you know that game that you play, Drug Free Party?
But you know what? We invite the potheads to join and be drug free with us.
Yeah. What if they say, well, I'm not drug free. Can I still be part of the Drug Free Podcast, the real podcast of Dallas? Yes, you may.
Yeah.
You can. You can join us. Yes. And even your drunk uncle, he can join us. You know,
the more the merrier.
A lot of laughs and a lot of family things that we do and we talk about. So
nostalgia.
So we did the podcast on spring break, and then we did a part 2. Part 2 kind of let loose a little bit. So listen to that. And those of you listening in other states, other countries, hit us up on Facebook. Send us some messages. The Real Podcast of Dallas. Song requests, yes. So, what a day. We've had already. Today is Tuesday.
It is Tuesday.
It's 2021. I'm going to say that because we don't really say what time or anything like that with the podcast. We just go, go, go. That's just to kind of remind me one day when I go back and I go, oh yeah, that's back in 2021. That's my old man voice.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. 2021.
You sound like the Simpsons grandpa.
Okay. So.
That's who you meant to sound like, right?
No, I meant to sound like me when I get old. So I guess I'll sound like that. So, Cindy, how did you like the Zoom that we did earlier?
Oh, that was a lot of fun. I try not to talk too much so that Leo can, say all the wisdom he has to share. And so it was really neat, though, because we had the vice principal get on, and that was awesome.
Yeah, that was nice.
He gave you props.
Yes. Or us. I'm going to say us because I'm a team player.
You are a team player. And it was good information.
It's a lot. This podcast is us. I mean, it's not just me. It takes a lot of us. I didn't have the idea to do this by myself. I did have you in mind because we've done this.
Right.
Maria in mind, and then our other coworkers. And they come in every once in a while. But I had us in mind only because of the conversations that we have. And we always go back to the drug-free. We always go back to mental health. We always go back to, I want to say we ground ourselves.
Well, that's true. Everything we talk about on the podcast, we've actually had as personal conversations.
Yes.
Because fortunately we have good chemistry and we can just talk, real. Hence, we called the podcast The Real. The Real Podcast. And we share all of our awkwardnesses about growing up and, struggles and challenges within healthy boundaries.
Yes, and when I said we should do this as a radio show, we should do this, you'd look at me like, huh?
Yeah.
And now we're doing it. And this is the beauty of it. It's not easy to do a podcast. It's not easy to fill in air, just dead air like that. I've done radio before, and I know covering, and I know that you have to have content and be listenable, and we've done a pretty good job. And I can only tell you that because we're reaching 600 downloads, and it's not just me sitting there, downloading 600 times, because I really don't have time for that. And I get to see where people are coming in, and they're coming in not just from Dallas. Dallas is representing, of course. There are a lot of people listening in Dallas. Thank you, kids at Griner. Thank you, adults that are supporting us. And, we're going to continue to do that. So we were having a conversation today.
At Griner?
Yeah, so we were going to kind of talk a little bit more about it. So those kids that have been on that Zoom, when you jump on this podcast, maybe you can hear a little bit more on that topic, which was?
It was Insecurities.
Right.
Which I'll just say, Maria and I felt insecure about this podcast when we first did it, because there's something a little bit intimidating about speaking into a microphone.
Yes.
And thinking, okay, anybody can hear this. And
right.
Then, when people like it or they listen to it and download, then it gives you a little bit of confidence. And pretty soon you forget the microphone is there.
Right. Yes.
And then I even thought this weekend, and I'm a fan of sharing my random thoughts. So I'm like cleaning the house, and I thought, you know what? If I die or get hit by a bus, my voice is recorded. Like,
yeah, it's forever.
My family can listen to me over and over and over again.
Yes, they can say, it was wonderful having her here. Let's listen to her.
Yeah.
And then they'll hear all the stuff she says about them, and they'll be like, never mind.
Never mind. But Leo can edit.
Yes, I'll make it look very innocent. I'll take out all those spicy parts. But yes, that's what it's for. And you felt insecure.
Yes.
What were you thinking?
What was I thinking of the first podcast?
What were you thinking about doing? And like, what made you insecure about it?
It's the sound of my voice. Apparently, I have a big Texas accent.
No, not you.
And people love to tell me that because if I travel outside of the state of Texas, people are like, "You from Texas?"
Or British?
Yeah.
Are you British?
And then when you hear your voice, it's just cringeworthy. It's like, oh my goodness.
It never sounds how you hear it.
Not at all.
It never sounds how
Not
you hear
at all.
it. Yeah. I've heard of performers who don't like listening to themselves. Bobby Brown was one.
Really?
That would not listen to himself and other people. Miss Maria doesn't like to listen to herself.
She does not.
Yeah.
She does not.
Yeah, it took me a while to get used to it. And really what happened was I wouldn't listen to myself when I would do radio. But it was when people would come up to me and say, man, what you said was great. What you said was this, what you said. And I was like, oh, so you're listening. So,
well, it's the same thing as like when you look at a photograph of yourself and you think, oh my God, do I really look like that?
Yeah.
Please tell me I don't look like, I can't believe I look like that. Let me put this cape over my head.
Now, some people aren't photogenic. I'm not photogenic at all.
Yes.
I will ruin a picture because you got to catch me like the right. Because I do not photo well. But I know people who take very good pictures and you see them and you're like, yikes.
They're blessed people. Some of us are.
But in person, they don't look like that.
Right.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's what models, when you look at them without all the makeup and all that,
right.
They're very plain. But it's like they're a canvas. They've got the cheeks and they've got a certain look. So they're able to paint over them.
Right.
Yes.
Maria is photogenic. Rocio is photogenic. We're not so much.
I'm not photogenic. I will ruin a picture. Yes, I will. Camera looks at me and says,
could you step further back? Further. Keep going.
Now you meet me in person, you're like, oh yeah, it's a cutie pie. Kitty.
That's the man behind the voice.
In case my kids are listening. Yeah, when you meet me, you're like, oh, that's a cutie pie.
Yeah.
My kids are probably like, ugh. But you have to have a good perception of yourself.
Right.
Because that's all you have.
Right. But it's also a work in progress.
Yeah, but I mean, there's things that you can't change. I mean, you can't change your voice. I mean, you could probably try to talk different, But, I mean, it's you, and at some point you have to be comfortable.
Right.
That's how I see it. Yeah.
You have to be comfortable in your own skin. You have to live in this body that you've been given, and own your voice. Yeah, own your voice. And, I mean, what I've learned throughout... Pull up a chair, kids. Advice from... I love this song. Advice from the old man. Yeah. And the wise woman. I need to put old in this. I put... Thank you, Leo. Wise. Censor yourself. Yes, I am. Or else I'll be thrown out the door.